Goodbye, my cheap and cheerful friend. I'm sorry I messed things up. So as you've probably guessed by now, this video didn't go quite according to plan. And this EASUN 48V inverter no longer works. So what you'll see in the video what I did and what I went about doing and the reasons behind that. But at the end of the day, once I reassembled this after the fact, it started to work for a while and then it stopped. And the only thing that I've managed to find on the actual board itself, which is a visual clue, is some burning around here. So any of those electronics experts out there who are able to repair this kind of thing, just let me know what you think that might be. I know I'm probably asking a lot, but I don't know what that means in terms of why this would just suddenly stop working. Now, was it the way I reassembled it? Could be. Was it the fact that I didn't use the resistor when I added the battery back in? And was there too much surge current? I don't know. But all I know is the fact that I like this so much that I actually went out and bought a replacement, which is currently running perfectly at the moment, whilst I was testing another one at the back end of last year. That's 2024. So, enough talk. Let's show you how this ended up. Time to have a quick look at this EASUN 48V inverter, the one that I used originally to set up on the Apexium DIY battery builds. Obviously I started off with one battery and now I've got two. I have had two for a while now. So I just wanted to see how this has fared after about 9 months of being left solidly switched on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cover off and all that and have a look around. As you can see, there's a bit of dust in there, a bit of dust in there as well, but I'm going to take the lids off now just to see how it's fared. And that's the actual intake there, so that's where the air comes in. Hasn't got a cover on there, so I'm probably going to find out that I'll need to put some kind of little filter on there once I've opened this up. I've obviously disconnected this now from the setup that I've been testing it on. It has the two fans on the top. I hope you can see those there. The only thing I have had problems with is this fan here seems to be a bit on the noisy side. So I don't know whether that needs replacing or just a good clean up. So let's get the lid off and have a look. So I did notice obviously while I was taking the battery cables off of those two posts, that you can see there's quite a bit of build up there on those capacitors of dust. And I don't know if you can see in there, but it looks like inside as well around the heatsink there's a fair amount of dust as well. So what I need to do is obviously take that off, but it's really where the air is being sucked in through this grill here. So that's probably not unexpected, but there's quite a lot of build up in there. So I'd imagine that cleaning this up inside is really going to help the heatsink be a lot more efficient now, in the fact that it's not clogged up with dust, and when it's hot obviously it means it's easier to cool it off. So let's get the main panel off now and have a look at the rest of it. As you can see, the cover is now off, ready to look right round on the inside. So easy to take off, just loads of screws around the outside. There they are, right on there. And this is a little bit stretched at the moment because I just need to find a way of actually detaching that from either there or from the front panel without actually damaging it, because it's glued on. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some glue on there. And when you open the side up as well, there's like a little sticker here which obviously shows you've opened it up. I'm assuming that's for anything to do with warranty, but on this cheapie I'm not really that bothered because it looks quite serviceable, and you can see the plastic cover there. So I'm just going to pull that plastic cover off so we can get a better look at the rest of it. Cover removed, so it's a lot easier to see round inside. In actual fact, it's a lot cleaner than I was expecting. Obviously around here where the airflow comes in via this little vent here, obviously it sucks all of the dust around that first part there, so you can see it all around the first lot of components. There's a little bit inside, but in general terms it's not that dusty inside. It's not as bad as I thought. As you can imagine, that you can see that the fans are a little bit dusty, so they'll need a bit of a clean as well. And this was the one that was a bit on the noisy side, so I'm going to have to look at that, see what spec that is, and possibly again see if I can just remove that without damaging it, because obviously it's glued in again, to make sure that I can just replace that, so that if it is a bit noisy I've got a spare one so I can just swap that out if necessary. But yeah, really quite simple layout. There's not much to it really. I'm sure the people that are watching this know how these inverters work. Will probably have something to say, and I expect to see your comments in the comment section below at some point or other. But simple design. Again, this one's quite lightweight. It's been performing beautifully. It hasn't really missed a beat at all, and only really been switched off when I've needed to actually change things on the batteries themselves that I've been using on this to test. So that's the inside now, and I'm just going to go outside now. Obviously I'm not going to do this inside because this is going to need a fair amount of clean up. So I'm going to take it into the garden now and actually just give it a good dusting where I can and remove as much of that as possible. The other thing I will say as well is I've made sure that all of these are already discharged, so I've left it switched on without anything connected to it for quite a while, so that these capacitors no longer have charge, because obviously I don't want to be putting my fingers around inside of this while they're still charged up. So it's had plenty of time to discharge over a number of days now. So let's get this cleaned up. So it's a bit windy out here today, so I've cleaned most of this up now. Actually, I didn't take the front off because the glue down makes it a little bit more difficult, but I did just take the fans out, and as you can see they're pretty dirty, so I'm actually going to clean them up. All I needed to do was take the screws out of the back there, just out of the case, and then they've both come out. Again, I didn't really want to snip anything or take anything out, purely because of all the glue that's holding it in place, and I didn't want to damage any of the connectors as a result. So I'm going to give those both a clean up now, and I've got the spec now if I do need to, and I probably will order another couple of these in just so that I've got some spares. But let's get on and finish the clean up. All cleaned up now, ready to put back together again. So the fans came out really nicely. Just need to keep an eye on this one, but again I'm going to order some in to cover those two off there should they fail at some point. But all of the heat sinks there now have all been dusted down. Everything, as you can see, all the capacitors now are clean again and all around here. So I need just to find something to go over that just to prevent any of that dust getting in there in the first place. So it just saves me having to do this job in the future. But again, a nice cheap inverter here, still running perfectly. I'll put it back together. Obviously I have to put the plastic cover, which obviously takes the airflow through on the important bits, as in over the heat sinks in there. Currently testing another 48 volt inverter, again another 6.2 kilowatt one in terms of output, and that's the Energy one. I've just put that on screen at the moment. I'll just show you it currently testing. Having a bit of a problem with the communications on it at the moment, the RS485 and 232 ports, but I'll report back on those soon. So I'll just show you a quick shot of that. Can't see much of it at the moment because I've got it hooked up in this way. This one here only takes 35mm square cable as a maximum. Obviously it only has 137 amps worth on there. Got my battery disconnect there, as well as a couple of fuses there that allow that to disconnect should I want to work on the inverter. But yeah, it's just testing, but I'm just having trouble with the comms at the moment. So I will report back on that in the future. But just going to put the other one back together. There we have it, all done and dusted now, all ready to be connected back up to my next project. There's the bolts there that go onto the terminal posts there inside. Got a few extra screws in there to secure this lower cover back on there. But that's it for this one here. So in an effort to try and stop this happening again, so I don't need to really clean this replacement 48 volt EASUN inverter out, I've just literally been using vacuum cleaner filters. So I've got some spare ones from one of my vacuum cleaner, and I just cut them to size. And as you can see, it's already capturing dirt on this current one, using a bit of Kapton tape to stick on there to make sure that it's keeping as much of that dust out as possible when it's being sucked through the inverter itself. But with this, what I've also found is the fact that I need to keep an eye on the inverter temperatures, because obviously I've made a change to the design here. So I'm not really going to know how well that's fared until I get into the summer months, and at the moment it's January time here in the UK, so it's not very warm, even though the house has got the heating on. So I suppose the real test of whether this is actually going to work or not, in terms of me being able to leave it on there during the warmer months, is to see what the temperatures going like and how long the fan has to keep kicking in for every day. But that's my hopefully my fix to stop things getting in there and the need to take the lids off and actually do a clean out. So there we have it, the cheap EASUN 48 volt inverter. It worked perfectly until I got my hands on it. Again, I did it for the right reasons, but obviously something didn't go right when I put it all back together again. So I would still get this because, again, the pricing's very, very good on it. I'm hoping my little hack in terms of making sure the dust doesn't get into the system makes it last a bit longer, as in not making me get the cover off again and trying to fix it again. But if you do have any comments, questions or suggestions about this budget inverter, please pop them in the section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks very much for watching and stay tuned to Dad Vinci.